and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. The biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Film My Run on Zwift. My name is Stephen Cousins and we are broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. While we're getting everything ready, it would be absolutely awesome if you could go and subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel and also the Zwift Live YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/filmmyrun and also Twitter at filmmyrun, and the website is www.filmmyrun.com. It's very nearly time, so sit back, relax, don't forget to drop me a ride on and watch me do all the hard work. Seconds to go before we start Tour of Watopia Stage 2 again, because we're such whores getting the XP, double XP for Tour of Watopia, so that's why we're doing it again. We're doing it at least twice a week. Some people are doing it every day just to get those XP. I'm on level 27 and I'm making my way through gradually, so hopefully by the end of the week I can get to level 28 or middle of next week maybe, because I'm not doing anything. Oh no, we're doing the Paris Marathon long run tomorrow, aren't we? So hopefully we'll be able to level up by tomorrow. Julia Foster has joined. Clive Finnemore is in the run. Who else have we got? Anthony Anderson, he says evening. So yeah, quite a few people anyway. About 40 odd people in the run this evening. Victoria did this one earlier as well. So we're just going to have a gentle jog around, nothing too taxing. Today is a down day, so today we're not doing anything too fast. Tomorrow we are going to blast out parkrun in the morning, and then we've got a long run in the evening and a long run on Sunday. If you're in the chat, hello. Watching on YouTube, Twitch or Facebook, hi, good evening, hope you're all well. So I'm going to start off really slowly. I'm going to start off at 8 kph, and then I'm going to go to 9 kph for the second kilometre, and then we'll do 5 kilometres at 10 kph. So that's my plan this evening. You're more than welcome to join me if you'd like, but nothing, like I say, nothing too special. Just a nice, relaxed evening run, 7k. Clive says, everyone. I think does he mean good evening, everyone? Evening, everyone. Tina's not feeling it today, so she's just watching. That's all right, Tina. I quite regularly am not feeling it. Oops. Just punched the microphone. And it's all right. That is, so I would say 8 times out of 10, when you're not feeling it, get out there and do it, and you'll probably feel better for doing it. But there are, those couple of times, every so often out of 10 times that it's better to not do it and just stay sitting on the sofa, relaxing, just letting your body recover. For whatever reason, if you're not feeling it, it's okay. So yeah, nice and slow to start with. Just do 1 kilometre really slowly, and then we'll go up to 9. 9 is comfortable as well, and then we'll go a little bit quicker. We'll go at 10 kph for the last 5k. So Anthony and Tina and Clive are in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube or Twitch, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, hope you're all okay. Tour of Watopia, stage 2. And we are running, what route is it? 2 bridges, I think it's called. So that sounds like we're going across to the volcano, doesn't it? I seem to remember we did that last time, so yeah, volcano route. And I went out this morning and did 10 miles on the seafront in the real world, just doing a bit of filming. I was hoping to get the video edited and finished by this evening, but that's not going to happen. Oh, now, are we back on now with the full XP showing? Because that just showed me 20 XP then. So I think we're back on with the correct display of the XP. That definitely showed 20 XP then, didn't it? So that is correct. Clive says, I hope you managed to get some video editing done this afternoon. Well, I did a little bit, but not enough. I'll carry on this evening. See how much I can get done this evening. But when we start watching TV later on, then the computer will have to be put away, because I can't edit video and watch TV at the same time. So Friday evening TV watching will start happening in the next couple of hours. So probably only got half an hour's worth of video editing. Victoria is off to a deep water workout this evening, so she's going to get some exercise in that way. She's already done this today. Tina says, I envy you the seafront runs. I'd like to be near a long, flat seafront for everyday running. Yeah, it is really good to have. We're very lucky here because we've got both. So 200 metres from the house is the seafront. We can just run flat along the seafront for miles and miles. And then just 2 or 3 kilometres inland, and I can get to the hills and the South Downs. So that's really nice as well. So yeah, we are very lucky where we live 20 XP for Victoria earlier, so she got the correct XP as well. So hopefully that's fixed now. They've obviously worked on that over the past few days, couple of days, day. It was only yesterday we reported it, wasn't it? They fixed that pretty quick. I'm going to try and go as fast as I can at Parkrun tomorrow morning. I'm staying local again, so Worthing, Seafront, Parkrun. As long as it's not too windy, I'm going to try and go as fast as I can tomorrow morning. Now, hopefully that's under 19 minutes. If I'm over 19 minutes, then I've not done what I wanted. Oh, right. Clive says I should be on 30 XP. Oh, yeah. Maybe I should be. Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah. Yeah, it would be 20 plus the 10, wouldn't it? You're right. It should be 30 XP. Okay. 300 meters and they will speed up a little bit. Yeah, 20 XP's just come up on screen, so definitely double XP but not accelerated XP. So they haven't fixed it. Yes, you're right. You're quite right, Clive. Sorry. In fact, I'm surprised that Tina didn't spot that and point that out before you. Tina, you're slacking. 6 minutes gone. Yes, Clive. So the information from HQ is that we are still getting accelerated XP. It's just not showing properly on the screen. That's what I've been told. The only way to find out whether that's true or not would be to do the Film My Run 500 on Tuesday, as long as they haven't fixed it by then, and see how quickly the orange bar goes up. Of course, Clive hasn't got the orange bar anymore because he's already on level 30. Yeah, it's difficult to tell when you're just getting 20 or 30 XP each time, because you can't tell the difference between 20 and 30. But you might be able to tell the difference between 50 and 100, or 100 and 200. I am gradually creeping closer to level 28. And 1 kilometre done. Actually, we'll wait till we get to 6k to go. So we've got 6.3 kilometres to go. So we'll get to 6k to go, and then I'll speed up. Heather, good evening. She says enjoy your run. Thank you, Heather. Just an easy one, nice and relaxed this evening, nothing too taxing. Legs still recovering a little bit from Wednesday. That was a hard session on Wednesday, even though it was relatively short. It isn't half a tough one, isn't it? And we've just got one more week left. One more week of intervals and long run. I know I misjudged the organisation of the long run. So we're not actually going to get to 2 hours. We'll get to 1 hour 55 next weekend. This weekend is 1 hour 50 minutes for the Paris Marathon long run. Next weekend will be 1 hour 55. The weekend after that will be 2 hours, but we won't be doing it because we will be in Paris. So we're not doing that. So that's my fault for mistiming that. Anyway, thankfully, we are drawing to the end of a tough 3 months of training from January through to the beginning of April. Tough 3 months of work. 13 weeks will have passed by the time we get to the Paris Marathon. So really looking forward now to the Paris Marathon, really feeling quite positive about it. Obviously just keeping in mind, I just need to be careful and not be overconfident and not be crazy, not be silly, not get injured, not get ill. We've still got 2 weeks to go, so I don't want to get ill, I do not want to get injured, I don't want to do anything silly. I want to keep my diet good. Lots of things will still contribute to a good or bad performance in these next 2 weeks. So we're speeding up to 9 kph now. So the same for all of you running whatever race you've got coming up in the spring, whether it's a 5k or a 10k, half marathon or a marathon, whether it's Paris Marathon, Boston, London, Manchester, wherever you might be running, just don't do anything silly between now and then. You've done the training, you've done the hard work, most of it. Maybe one more week of a few fast efforts, but in general the hard work is done now. It's taper time, but you still have to keep your body in trim. So eat well, get lots of sleep, just focus on the race that's coming up, and all the best for your race, whatever you're doing. Heather was saying, she was talking to Clive earlier, said, I couldn't sleep on Tuesday night after my interval session. My legs felt like they were vibrating. Very odd and unpleasant. Well, in a way, Heather, that's quite good though, because I think it probably means that you'd worked really hard and your legs will have broken down a bit, so you'll have had a bit of micro tearing in your muscle fibers. As long as you're eating protein, that muscle fiber will build back up again stronger over the next 2 weeks. And 2 weeks is around about the period. So any less than 2 weeks, so any work that you do a week out of the marathon is not really going to have much of an effect. But 2 weeks back is about the minimum time. So a hard interval session 2 weeks out from your marathon will make a difference to your fitness, because your muscle fibers have time to break down and then rebuild again stronger in time for the marathon. So that's probably what's happened, Heather. You've probably worked so hard that your muscle fibers are just absolutely shredded and just need a bit of time to rebuild. And I would say that's a good thing. Unless you're in pain, unless you're in real pain, then that's not so great. Clive says, I hope this year your journey time to Paris is not as long as last year. Last year, Jamie Stevenson, who came from Atlanta in Georgia, in America, had a shorter travel time than we did. I can't remember why. Oh, yes. Yes, because the ferry was cancelled, wasn't it? So we left the house. We went all the way. We went to New Haven to collect our ferry, to get our ferry, which is not far away from us. And it had been cancelled. So then we had to drive all the way to Dover. And then we had to wait in a queue overnight to get onto the ferry in Dover. And instead of getting on the ferry at 11 p.m, we eventually got a ferry at about 6 a.m. So, yeah, it took us a lot longer than expected last year to get to Paris. Hopefully, yeah, this year will not be quite so long. Okay, Getting dark outside, 400 metres, and we will speed up to 10 kph. And we'll probably stay there for the remainder of the run. Unless I get overexcited towards the end. I am on my own, there's nobody running with me, so if I wanted to speed up and go a bit crazy, I guess I could. It was an epic journey, Heather. Yeah. An epic car journey that 6 hours of which was sat in a car park in Dover ferry terminal. Victoria will be at the pool, getting herself changed, ready for her swim session, deep water workout. Kids are in the house playing on TikTok or Roblox, whatever they play on these days. FIFA 2023, football on the computer. Heather. So I'm going to be doing 20 miles on Sunday morning. I'm going to be doing it at a relatively comfortable pace, but not a really slow pace. So a lot of my long runs are very slow. But because I'm running with a group, so we'll be going a bit quicker. So I would say about a minute slower than marathon pace for 20 miles. But I think, and I wouldn't do that 1 week out. So 2 weeks out from the Paris Marathon, I think that's okay. Right then, let's speed up to 10 kph. Yes, you're right, Tina. I will be sensible. I will not go overly quick. I'm going to stay. Let's stay at 10 kph for the rest of the run. Nothing daft. Thank you, Tina, for keeping me in check. I will not get overexcited. 5k, comfortable 10 kph. So we'll be done now in half an hour from now. Yeah, you've just got to go at a pace which feels comfortable, Heather, on these long runs. In general, I would say just a comfortable pace that you can breathe easily and talk if you want to. Conversational pace is what it's called. I was watching one of the cycling podcasts from Zwift yesterday. You know, they do these shows where there's no race, no run, no ride. And they just sit and chat about Zwift. And I keep thinking we really ought to do one of those. No running, we're sitting on a sofa and we just chat about Zwift. And we can have guests on. You know, it'd be really nice, just half an hour, once a week, of just chat. I know I tend to, you know, if I've got any news about Zwift, I tend to impart it via this method, running a run and talking about what's going on at Zwift. But it'd be nice to have other people involved on camera, you know, talking about Zwift as well. Or just running in general. I really think we ought to try and get that organised. It's just what day to do it on. Three kilometres done, 4.3 to go. Slowly edging that orange bar closer to level 28. We're not going to get there today. We might get there tomorrow. Clive has to finish early because he's got dad taxi duties to do. Heather says, I hope the weather is decent for you. Heather says, what day to do the chat podcast thing on? You've got lots of time to fit it in, Stephen. You've got a very light running schedule this year. I hope she's being sarcastic. That is the problem, isn't it? Because it's locking it down to one day when, you know, I am around generally. And most evenings, of course, we're running on Zwift. You know, it might have to be a Saturday lunchtime or something like that. .200 calories burned. Tina Beard is going to be marshalling at Parkrun tomorrow. and she's hoping to do a little bit of the Paris run with us tomorrow evening. That'll be good. Tina, thank you. Clive, come on, buddy. Get out that door in the morning, even if it's raining. You know you need to. I'm going to do my experiment of not looking at the watch again tomorrow. We'll see if I can do a sub 19-minute park run without looking at my watch. That'd be something, wouldn't it? I might not be able to resist having a quick glance, certainly in the last kilometre. If I'm close in the last kilometre, yeah, I might have to have a little look at my watch. Right, Clive says his weekly mileage will be approximately 77k after this, so only another 22 to go before Sunday. Clive, are you planning on doing 99 kilometres? Is that your goal? 99 kilometres by the end of the week? I've just realised how misted up the doors are. I'm just going to open them very quickly. Coming up to 4 kilometres done. No, Clive, I think you should leave it at 99. That's hilarious. Just leave it at 99. Don't do the extra one. I don't know what mine's going to be. I think mine's going to be about 120 at the end of the week. I don't know exactly. But then we'll definitely do less next week. About 100 next week. And then only about 50 the week of the marathon. Funny story. So, I don't very often run official 10k races. I've not done very many. And my official 10k PB was set in 2013, 10 years ago. And it is 39 minutes, 43 seconds, officially. But the weird thing is that I have beaten that time, I think 3 or 4 times now, in the middle of other races. So, in the middle of a couple of half marathons, I have beaten my 10k time. And I noticed that in my Surrey half marathon last weekend, if you look at the last 10 kilometres of my Surrey half marathon, that is a 10k PB. 39 minutes 24 seconds, I think, something like that. I added it up. each kilometre I added up Strava, and I think it comes to 39 minutes 24 seconds. So last weekend I beat my 10k PB, but it won't register, and that has happened 3 or 4 times, and my 10k PB still is 10 years old officially. So I've got to enter a race. I've got to enter a 10k race whilst I'm fit, whilst I'm at this level of fitness, so that I can break my 10-year-old PB. But I don't know when I'm going to do it. I've got no idea when I'm going to be able to fit in a 10k race. Okay, Heather's saying, will you follow a time pacer in Paris or just use your watch? Or, Heather, the other option is to do what I did in Surrey and not use anything. So, my friend Stuart, who I've talked to you about already, and who I'm currently editing a video with him in it. I think he may want me to run a Paris marathon not looking at my watch. Because the theory is that looking at your watch holds you back. And looking at your watch prevents you from producing the performance that you are capable of, because you are mentally tied to the times you think you can do because of your watch. And if you don't look at your watch, and if you've got no idea what speed you're running, you are likely to run faster. And I did do that at Surrey in the second half of the race, because I was worried. I was kind of worried that I wasn't on pace, so I sped up because I was concerned that I wasn't going fast enough. And because I didn't have my watch I did have my watch, but I didn't check it. Deliberately didn't look at it. So I just kept going quicker and quicker. And as you can see, if you look at my Strava graph, for the last 5k of the Surrey Half Marathon, I was just trying to run as fast as I possibly could. And you know, it worked. So I'm still a bit undecided. What I won't do, Heather, is follow the pacer. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. The pacers, I mean, without wanting to be rude, I'm sure you'll understand. If you're an inexperienced runner, then following a pacer may well be a very good idea. They are likely to be more experienced than you at pacing, and so sticking with them can give you confidence. It can take the worry away from pacing. You don't have to think about your pace because somebody else is thinking about that for you. All you have to do is concentrate on your running form, your breathing, and following that guy with the flag. So that is a good option for a lot of runners to follow the pacer. If you're more experienced and confident about your ability to pace yourself, and you know how to work your watch, that's one of the most important things, actually. Because some people don't know how to set up their watch so that it will give them the correct readings to pace their marathon. Some people literally don't know how to work their watch. They just press go and that's it. But if you know how to work your watch, if you're confident about what to do with your watch, and if you're confident about the exact speed that you need to go, then yes, you can go by your watch and you can ignore the pacer and go your own way. Which is what I have done in the past and what I had fully intended to do for Paris. So I would set up my watch exactly how I needed it, and as long as I kept exactly to the splits on the watch for the whole run, I would come in bang on the correct time. But that limits you to the correct time, doesn't it? So if I went and I said, right, all I want to do is I want to make sure that I beat my previous marathon time. So I would set up the pace on my watch to get me in for that time. But there's a potential, there's a chance that you could go faster. And so I think that's what this idea of not looking at your watch at all is all about, is just trying to eke out the maximum potential that you have. Now there's a risk, of course, and the risk is that you aren't very good at pacing from a mental point of view, and you panic and you go too quick early on and you blow up, or of course you don't go fast enough. And so you get over halfway and you suddenly realise you're not going to make it because you haven't got enough time to make up the ground that you've lost. So you need to be fairly confident that you can go fast enough. And that's what happened to me in Surrey. I was panicking that I wasn't going quick enough, so I just kept speeding up and speeding up. So Olaf is saying, my plan is to have Pace Pro set up and hit about 5:20 per kilometre, yes. So Pace Pro is a great one as well. If you know how to use Pace Pro on your watch, set that up. So Olaf, I'll tell you how I do it. I don't even look. So even if I'm looking at my watch for a marathon, or for any race that I'm specifically targeting, I will have two fields on the watch face. So I'll just have the watch face set up to show me two fields. One is my average speed for the whole run. Now, because I run on Zwift a lot, I'm used to running in kilometres per hour. So at the moment we're going at 10 kilometres per hour. And that's something that I'm used to seeing. So I'll have one data field on my watch, which will tell me exactly the average speed that I'm going. And for a sub 3 marathon, that should be 14.2. It's 14.1, but margin of error, 14.2 kilometers per hour. And then underneath that, the second data field will be lap pace. So that's how fast I'm going for the particular kilometer that I'm in. And I know for every kilometer that I need to go, it needs to be around about 4 minutes 13, 4 minutes 14 per kilometre to do a sub 3 marathon. And that's all I need on those two data fields. As long as I stick exactly at the correct speed and the correct lap pace, that will get me in on time. Now, the other thing to bear in mind though, is you can double check that against the course markers. So the only time I'll look at the time and the distance that I've run is when I get to halfway and I can set my watch and say, okay, we've come past halfway in 1 hour 29 minutes. And we know that we were on course. Because you need to go by the course markers, because obviously a marathon on the road, you're measuring it via GPS, the satellites, and the satellites can be slightly out. So you need to be careful about that. Olaf says I should do a video on tips for the Paris Marathon. Well, I guess it'd be tips for any marathon, wouldn't it? Heather says, I must admit, I only used my watch for the first time in Amsterdam. It was a revelation. I learned that I don't know how to use my watch and I have no innate sense of pace. Yeah, you need to practice a bit, Heather. So practice using the different settings on your watch. And maybe do a bit of practice not looking at your watch, just seeing if you can work out what speed you're going. Maybe do 5 kilometers without looking at your watch and think, right, I'd like to do these 5 kilometers in half an hour, say. So set out running and see if you can finish 5k in half an hour without looking at your watch. And the more you practice that, the better you'll become at it. Maybe I should do a video with all that information on. We just got just over a kilometre left to do. Still staying at 10 kph, we haven't gone crazy. We've just kept it easy, kept it steady. And we should finish in about 7 minutes from now. Oh, okay. Olaf says, I'm curious as to what is at the aid stations. What hydration tablets and stuff. Okay, so the aid stations in Paris have lots of real food. So oranges, bananas, raisins, lots of that stuff. They also have sugar cubes and water. And then there are 1, possibly 2 stops where you can get Lucozade, or is it Lucozade or is it a different? I'm not sure what the brand is, but a brand of sports drink. You can get a bottle of that or a cup of that, I think, at two stops. And I'm not entirely sure whether they've got gels on the course. I think there might be a stop as well where you get gels. Yeah, Tina says, I can easily judge 9 kilometers an hour as it's my comfortable pace, but faster than that is a bit more tricky. Yeah, and same here, to be honest with you. You know, I think I can judge this pace that we're running now. I can judge that relatively well, I think, outdoors. But I think in the half marathon, I think I did go. I was going a bit too fast for the first kilometre, and I deliberately slowed down a bit. But then I just didn't slow down enough, and yeah, I don't know. Right, 800 metres to go. Oh, Heather says it's been Powerade. Yes, Powerade does sound familiar. Yeah, so Powerade is it's a couple of stops in the Paris Marathon. Clive didn't see any of that last year. He was too busy looking for the toilet. There'll be no toilet stops on the Paris Marathon this year. That is for sure. Olaf is bringing Morton gels with him. That's what he's been using on his long runs. Just trying to have as few surprises as possible, yes. Well, if you're comfortable with Morton gels, just keep them on you and keep using them. I've got a feeling they were giving Morton gels out in Paris last year, actually. I'm not entirely sure. I wouldn't like to say for definite. You'd have thought after 10 years of running the Paris Marathon I'd know a thing or two about it, wouldn't you? But there we are. Heart rate nice and comfortable. We've managed to stay in zone 1 for most of the run. Only 6 minutes listed up there in zone 2. So that is good. Tina says, Dino, I've never stopped for the toilet on a race. Not even during my ultra. I would like to say the same, Tina, but I'd be totally lying. I have used nature's facilities on multiple occasions. Meters left of our tour of Watopia, and we are very close now to level 28. You can see the orange bar there. We are almost certainly going to get to level 28 tomorrow evening. 7k done, just the 300 meters to go to the end. Running with Fairbanks at the moment. I think he's racing me to the finish. I haven't given any ride-ons, have I? Just given one ride-on there. That's not very good, is it? Fairbanks has given me a ride-on. Yeah, Olaf wants to know, how did you carry your tangerine? They're not exactly the right shape to put in a pocket, are they? Chris Nolan, I am not going to level up, I don't think. I'm nearly there, but not today. It's not going to happen today. We're nearly at the end. 46 minutes done. 100 meters to go. There's the finish line. Just up ahead. I wonder if you get extra points for finishing. No is the answer to that. Right, done. 47 minutes on the clock. Tina says, thanks everyone, good chat as ever. Clive says, thank you Stephen, have a good weekend everyone, see you tomorrow. Yeah, Heather carried her tangerine just in her pocket, in a small bag. Pre-segmented. I'm not daft, she says. Heather, would we even consider suggesting that you are daft? It's not even entered my head to think of such a thing. Right, we are done here. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to do the Paris Marathon long run tomorrow evening. There is a chance that Victoria might not be here because she was hoping to go to a gig tomorrow night. One of her friends is in a band playing not too far away, so she was hoping to go and watch a gig tomorrow. So Victoria might or might not be here for the Paris Marathon long run. I will be here, and I will see you all then. Anthony says, good run, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, guys. Take care. Have a good rest of your day, whatever you're doing, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. It's done it again. Why is it not working? I pressed the button. Right, I need to sort this out. Okay, so you've got me for another 30 seconds while I fiddle around and try and find the outro scene. That I should be able to press a button and it comes up automatically. However, not on this occasion. I've got a little bit of fiddling to do. It's here somewhere. Finish logo. There we go. Number 45. See, I've got so many scenes. This is number 48. Scene number 48 is the finish logo. I'm sure there's over 100 different scenes. Anyway, right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.